Hello and welcome. In today's review you will hear about the AC 48, French Tier 8 tank destroyer. It has the lowest hit points among the tank destroyers in Tier 8, on 1000, but there is a but. It has, from my point of view, one of the best Tier 8 armor among the tank destroyers in the game. It has 150mm of frontal armor and is sloped back in a ridiculous angle, capable of bouncing most of the heavy tank guns in its tier. So please don't judge this tank destroyer only by its own shy hit points. It has one of the greatest mobility, speaking of the tank destroyers. This is one of the most mobile Tier 8 tank destroyer, along with the Jagdpanther 2, but the Jagdpanther 2 is typically a glass cannon. Meanwhile, the AC 48 has some armor, at least it has some armor on its front. Side and rear, it's really garbage, 40mm, it won't bounce any guns in the game. And some cannons may outmatch its armor, meaning some shells won't bounce off from your side armor even if you show it in 70+ degree to your opponents. So practically 120mm guns and more cannot bounce off from the side of the AC 48. And this is the same for the rear. Something to consider. The traverse speed is quite good, 28 degrees per second. Just by the numbers, it's not so much, but it is capable of handling most of the medium and light tanks in the game. So if they don't track you on the first place, you will be able to show your front armor and will be able to return fire on them, which is kind of nice. This is one of the tank destroyers can protect itself on the battlefield. And just imagine what happens to the Jagdtiger 88 or to an AT-15 if some light tanks trying to flank them and get behind them. So basically they are totally annihilated by them. Meanwhile, this AC 48 isn't. Thanks to its 850 horsepower engine and its 50 speed limit, it can change flanks in no time. And this is one of the key features of this tank destroyer. Even if you winning on one flank and the other is falling, you can easily switch between the flanks and help your allies or stand the enemy. Its view range is pretty standard, 370 meters, nothing bad about it, nothing to complain. With the binocular telescopes it is 462 meters. The AC 48 has a selection of 3 guns. These 2 are coming from the AC 46. And this tier 10 gun can be researched on this vehicle. However, I never ever used this gun, and I have a reason for this. The French tank destroyers have a really annoying feature. They have a very narrow gun traverse, and the long aiming time and the narrow gun traverse is a combination which I don't really like. Because if a target runs out from your gun arc, you will need to traverse with the body, and after that your aiming circle needs to settle to be able to shoot your target, and with this 2.9 seconds of aiming time, it's really hard. I much more prefer this gun over the 120mm. It has quite enough penetration to deal with tier 8 opponents, and if you're quite unlucky to be in a tier 10 game, you can load some premium ammunition in case of need, or you can pin your opponents even with this shell. Equipment wise, I use binocular telescopes for visibility, and if I need to defend myself and to hold a flank on my own, it really helps. I use the enhanced gun laying drive for a reason of better aim time, and of course the camouflage net and camouflage skills along with the crew. So to summarize, what is the ACMLE 48? It has the best mobility among the tier 8 tank destroyers. It has one of the best armor from the front. It has quite well traverse speed, good selection of guns, and on the negative side it has quite long aiming time guns and a narrow gun traverse. And of course it has its own weak spots. And you can see them on the top of the vehicle. This and this machine gun port, which is kind of annoying because these are the first things your opponents will see whenever they see your tank. So first your weak spots, then your gun. So you will need to expose these while you are aiming and shooting. So let's see some battle. We are on El Haluf in a tier 8 match with my usual platoon mates, Cicapocoke and Ozilion. As usual, I took the initial TD location and I was hoping to get some free shots on the enemies. Our AMX 12T already heading down into the valley, and I was hoping he can spot some tanks up there on the ridge. I missed that leopard, and I spotted, and here comes these rocks into the picture. They serve you especially good covers if there are not many SPGs or no SPGs in the game. As you can see, the French tank destroyer doesn't have the best aiming time in the game. Oops. I'm quite confident it has dragged the T-34. And since there are here more than enough tank destroyers, I intend to switch my location. I see that our forces will be flanked in A3, so I'm already rushing to help them. And here you can see one of the key advantage of the ACMLE 48. And the T-75 was a little bit overconfident. And I finish him. Alright. No damage so far. I have seen that the Carnarvon is heading this way, so I didn't rush. He probably would have been able to shoot my flank. And I immediately repair my tracks. I didn't want to take damage in this early stage of the game. As you can see, its front armor just eating shots. They really cannot penetrate me in this kind of distance. You see? No damage so far. And this Carnarvon will be a little bit pissed off. Oops. Tracks down. And in that sort of range you should always shoot the tracks, the drive sprockets. It will track the enemy and much probably you will be able to cause some damage as well. And even if you don't kill the opponent, you will be able to damage him. Shot on this 101. No one appears. I intend to go further to help out my allies in A3. And just when I try to do that, oops, the M445 appears, and I will be more than happy to shoot him in the side. Okay, 3 kills. Just when we finish the M445, only our AMX M445 is the last survivor. And we will have to do some serious business here to stop these forces. Fortunately, our front armor lets us to do that. Yes. I thought the KV-4 will come out, and I should. Apparently it didn't. And I wanted to track him. But yes, the KV Fortress has superior tracks. And so for this reason, I intend to go for the cupola. And now I encourage the KV-4 and the others to shoot my angled front armor, which is it's not likely to take any damage from them. And they exactly do this for me. Oh, the CRC had a quite good idea and pinned our Yak Panther, but fortunately he's not alone. Bye bye, Mr. ERC. And I was only aware of the ERC just because I read the minimaps. This is very important, guys, and I see players often have no clue what is happening, and this was what helped me to realize that there is an ERC. Oops, T-34, I missed the first shot. Of course I track him. No damage. Brilliant. Come on, I want that Top Gun. Come on. Okay. And after it, it was only a duck hunting. Okay, now let's see some post-game statistics. As you can see, I get the Mastery Badge First Class. I achieved High Caliber, Top Gun and Steel Wall. To give you a little bit of detail how much damage did the armor absorb, let's see the detailed report. 3,280 damage absorbed by the frontal armor of the ACMLA-48, which is brilliant. We had 5 penetrating hits, However, none of them caused any damage. These shots were eaten by our tracks, and I was able to dish out 3346 damage, which is kind of good for this tank destroyer. It's more than 3 times as its own HP. And I want to thank you for the Yak Panther driver, Mortal 007, since he protected me from being punished by an ERC AMX from behind. And without him, I would have been in a little bit of trouble.